in general talk about two things. One is culture, and the other is attention. Right? And I think as you think about those two things, YouTube has really put our stake in the ground in terms of really figuring out the cultural trends that are affecting today's world and today's consumer, and then how brands can actually win by tapping into a lot of those cultural trends. So, what better way to start than to tell you a little story about Despacito. So, as a lot of you know, Despacito is a song that nobody could get out of their heads for a long time. And as we think about this trend, right? Despacito, a little loud, guys. A little loud. So Despacito has been on track to be the most viewed YouTube video ever. Last year it hit 4 billion views. It's on pace to hit 5. And as it's gone, it really has set every major milestone along the way, both in scale and spread. So if you look at a lot of the trends that you see on this slide here, most of these songs got to the level of where Despacito is, but they got there in different ways. Despacito really grew the fastest, right? It moved the quickest, and it really kind of captured many consumers' minds as the world went throughout 2017. It didn't really start in Spanish-speaking. It started in Spanish-speaking communities, really, but then, as you can see, it really started to spread through many different countries as well. And what we started to see was that it wasn't just the song Despacito that people were interested in. They were tapping into it in many different ways. So maybe you like Despacito with a classical twist. Or maybe you like it on an Austrian farm, where these people started a Despacito music video. Or maybe you went really, really deep down a rabbit hole and you started to explore the ways that Despacito could help you learn math. So we've all done this, don't lie, right? In some way, shape, or form. So these are just a few of the examples of the ways the world really embraced Despacito and made it their own. It was interactive, right? It was personal, and it even as it became a global phenomenon, it spread in ways that we couldn't imagine in looking at it at YouTube. The fact that it doesn't seem to make sense as a hit in Germany or Austria or Lebanon didn't mean that it couldn't have the opportunity to become one of the biggest videos ever on YouTube, right? So what you saw was the traditional gatekeepers that control a lot of content that gets sent out into the world today really sat on the sidelines as Despacito started to take off. So if we think about culture, right, today's culture really plays by different rules, right? Entertainment is not really restricted by genre anymore. It's not really restricted by geography of mass kind of entertainment distribution and how that all works. It's interactive and a part of how we express ourselves as individuals. And the cultural phenomenon of Despacito is possible because how viewers around the world expect to be entertained today, right? It looks a lot different than it did even 5 years ago. Despacito reminded us that in this world, users, not networks, are the new gatekeepers of content, right? Users took Despacito and made it what it was. Content distributors didn't do that. Premium content, I think, is increasingly becoming more personal, right? And for users, the ability to choose kind of taking precedence over production, value or big stars is really an interesting phenomenon that we're seeing. So Here's another cultural trend that we're seeing. 70% of teenage YouTube subscribers say they relate to YouTube creators and YouTube celebrities more than traditional mainstream celebrities, okay? They have this unmediated connection to these creators that exist on our platform that we really don't see in the traditional celebrity world today. Now, Will Smith began his YouTube journey with a collaboration with Lily Singh, who, if you don't know who Lily Singh is, she's otherwise known as the Superwoman on YouTube. She's one of our most popular creators. I would encourage you to check out her channel. Earlier this year, when Will Smith started his own channel, growth was really slow at first. And his first video, it really felt more like a DVD than a lot of the vlogs that exist on our platform. Because if you think about it, right, Will Smith is coming from a totally different side of entertainment. And when he came to YouTube, we realized that the biggest movie stars don't necessarily mean they're going to be the biggest YouTube stars. He had to learn how to let his fans into his world, right? He had to learn how to have a two-way conversation with his fans, as opposed to the typical one-way conversation he was used to in creating the movies that he's done.
Golf club and a lighter is the definition of creativity. I cannot believe how much YouTube has awakened me. I'm finding my voice. There's so much stuff I wanted to say.
So his channel really took off, though, when he started to get scrappy with the type of content he was making and when he accepted a challenge from some of his fans. So let's just have a quick look at that.
I got 3 conditions. 1, we do it for charity. 2, we do it after I finish shooting my movie, because I don't want to be in breach of my movie contract. I can't be jumping on the helicopter when I got a movie. And 3, most important, non-negotiable, we do it over the Grand Canyon. Oh, now y'all scared.
So a bunch of his fans challenged him to heli jump out of a helicopter. And it wasn't until that point that he realized that, oh, he has fans that are actually communicating with him regularly on his channel. He had to engage with them. So he took them up on this challenge. I actually don't know if he's jumped yet, but nonetheless, this is when he started to see rapid growth in his channel. So he doesn't have a major movie coming out this year, and he really sees YouTube as his means of maintaining a connection with his fans during these bridge years or bridge gaps in between movie to movie. I think achieving that connection meant, for him, embracing the different types of connections that exist on our platform, right? Which is, it's a two-way conversation. Users want to interact with our creators as much as our creators want to interact with the users. And I think as we as marketers think about this, it's a very similar very similar situation to how brands are actually marketing on the platform today, right? The brands that are succeeding in terms of marketing on YouTube are thinking about it as a two-way communications platform, a personalization platform where they can interact with a consumer in much different ways than they could through a traditional media. So let's talk about Fortnite. Fortnite was a black box for me. I am not a video game person at all. But Fortnite has become a true testament to how a simple, small cultural trend can gain rapid speed across the platform. So you need to know about Fortnite. I'm going to give you a little education on Fortnite. But if there are gamers in the room, don't hold me responsible here, because I'm probably not going to do a good job with the gaming technicalities. So when you look at YouTube, for the longest time, right, these were the two video games that lived on the platform that had the most views. They were the most popular, and really, for the longest time, our cultural connections team didn't really even look at gaming outside of these two games because they were so popular, and they just thought there's no way any video game is ever going to match what Minecraft and Grand Theft Auto did. So this game released last fall, passed Grand Theft Auto and watch time in February. So Fortnite is a game where you get thrown onto this island. There are 100 other players on the island, and essentially you're all trying to kill each other, right? This sounds like every video game to me ever. But I guess the hitch is that obviously it's inherently social, right? So you're talking to other people as you're playing, you're competing against them, one, and two is you're building these forts as you go throughout this island, and that's enabling you to kind of stay protected, right? So nothing that riveting, but it speaks to how something can really gain traction quickly. So this year we've already seen 10 million Fortnite uploads onto YouTube, 10 billion views of different Fortnite games throughout the platform. For comparison, that's 10 times what we've seen for Infinity War content, which is the biggest movie of the year. Fortnite is also creating stars, right? So what it's doing is it's enabling creators to build a distribution network on the platform. It's enabling creators like Ninja, who has become the #1 Fortnite gamer on YouTube, to accrue mass amounts of volume from consumer standpoint. 4 million subscribers is the number of people who are just subscribed to this Ninja's channel, who is apparently the best Fortnite player in the world. So also Drake is super interested in Fortnite. Drake has apparently in between recordings of his music, he's started to play Fortnite. So what he's done is he's come to the platform, and he's been playing for a month or two. He watches Ninja on YouTube. He learns from him, and he plays against other players on the platform and Ninja as well. So this is just a quick look at how this all kind of shakes out.
I started uploading. Did you see all my shit on? This is curious.
So this is Ninja talking to Drake.
On Instagram, right? Like, is that when you started seeing some of my stuff?
I saw your clips on Instagram, and then I kind of went on YouTube and started really just seeing because I think you used to play. You didn't always play this, right? You played Players Battleground Unknown, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's become totally interactive. You have music stars like Drake. Playing with creators on YouTube, and these people are accruing mass audiences. Now, what's also happening is similar to Despacito, is it's kind of transcending across different parts of culture, right? So it's gone outside of gaming, and it's coming to life in all sorts of unique ways, such as this soccer dance celebration. Okay. We also see it coming to life in a rap video. Fortnite's kind of been spectacular and swift with this. With YouTube, we've seen this rap video actually go to the top of the charts here. So the Fortnite rap battle featuring Ninja is coming in just below Justin Timberlake on the top 100 music videos chart right now, right? So you're seeing this transcension, if you will, of video gaming across different parts of culture, which is again one of the things we've seen transcend the platform as of late. So you're seeing this trend, right? You're seeing this trend of two-way conversation really start to hit home as it relates to YouTube, and how both creators and brands are trying to connect with consumers. I'm going to share one more cultural trend that we're seeing, and that's a trend called Study With Me. So much different than kind of entertainment, some of the stuff that we just went through. In 2015, Study With Me videos hit YouTube. In these videos, viewers are actually invited to watch other people studying, right? To try to create an environment where you actually have a study buddy, if you will. Okay, so here's just a quick look at what this looks like, and it's going to be exactly what you think. So totally different, right? It's about companionship. It's about getting you through a difficult time, whether you're studying for finals or whatever it is in your life. At the height of the finals kind of season, right, which we see towards the end of each semester, come study with me videos collect almost 500 million minutes of watch time, growing at 8-9x year-on-year growth, right? So these are just people who are logging into YouTube, whether it's on in the background while they're studying, and it's actually helping them to achieve a task. Now, what these videos also help many viewers accomplish is the act of just getting started, right? So an act that studies show is often the biggest mental hurdle to overcome. By seeing healthy, productive study habits reflected on the screen, viewers may feel really more inspired to do the same, right? And it seems to be working, right? The comments, if you see here, are really filled with these life-saving tales of people really getting through this challenge of studying, right? So some interesting kind of cultural trends that we're seeing on YouTube, and probably cultural trends that you've maybe heard of in the background, but not ones that you're thinking of as marketers, right? Because we think of these things as very consumer-driven. So I mentioned at the beginning I wanted to talk about culture and attention. So I want to pivot now to attention and think through how we as marketers try to break through this noise, right? And how we think about communicating with customers who are in this world, right? So it's been said the goldfish has an 8-second attention span. You've maybe heard this, right? They go my daughter, she's 7, she'll go and tap on her thing, and then the goldfish 8 seconds later will come back, and I'm like, wow, it really is 8 seconds. My point is the human attention span is now less than this, right? And studies have shown that we are now paying attention less than that of a goldfish, which is super scary. And if you think about it, right, from a media standpoint, it makes sense, right? Back in the 50s, 60s, reach was scarce, right? You had 3 networks, right? And everybody sat around the TV, and that was it. Attention was plentiful because they were all sitting there looking at the TV. Now the tables have totally turned, right? Now reach is plentiful. You can reach anybody you want. You can go do it on any platform you want. You can go to YouTube. You can go to Facebook, you can go to Twitter, you can buy TV, you could do all this still. There's plenty of reach. It's the attention that's the challenge, right? And cutting through that attention layer is the difficult piece. Let's just play this out. Throw this out. Anyone tell me in 2012, what was the top rated TV show in the US? Big Bang Theory. Excellent. Okay, how about 2017? YouTube channel? Just TV. Stick with TV. Walking Dead, that's a good guess. Anyone else? Big Bang Theory. Now that's scary, huh? Now here's what's scary. It's still the #1 show on TV, but it's down 20% in ratings. Okay? So the content isn't changing. Scripted Hollywood is in trouble here if you look at this, right? And so if we go deep here and we look at just time spent, right, and you're thinking about a teen or a tween or someone who's young, in that younger demographic, the tables have turned. We're seeing it with just from a sheer time spent from traditional media to digital. Within this big blue block of digital, half of that is on mobile, because we're all on our phones all the time. And within that, if we start to look at really that 18 to 24-year-old demographic, they're the ones that are driving most of the rapid acceleration in digital and the rapid deceleration in TV. 7 in 10 teens watch 3+ hours of mobile video a day. 3+ hours. 2 times as much YouTube and Netflix as cable. I would probably argue they don't even have a cable subscription in their house. Digital video is the place that we're seeing most of the growth here. So one thing we said was, okay, digital video is starting to scale. Are there attention layers with digital video that can help us, our advertisers, improve their campaigns? Are people paying more attention to digital video than they are on TV? And the answer is yes, right? We partnered with Ipsos on a study that actually put 1,500 eye tracking devices in homes, right, throughout the United States. And what that did simply was it looked at when content went to commercial, what consumers did, right? And I'm sure you all think about this today as you sit in front of your TV. What you do when they go to commercial is that you go to your phone typically. So what we see is, yes, full attention is paid more to YouTube. There's less multitasking that's occurring when content is being viewed on YouTube versus TV. So when TV goes to commercial, 26% of the time that consumer is doing something else. And then there's about the same amount of skipping and switching that's occurring, right? So if you think about you go to commercial on TV, you change the channel. Kind of same thing happens on YouTube, right? If you're done with your content or you're getting served an ad, you might try to find your next piece of content. So what this has done, right, to us, and what we constantly think about at YouTube is there's this new consumer that's more curious, more demanding, and way more impatient than a consumer even a decade ago. Now, the consumer also expects the ads to be better, right? What we see across both Google and YouTube is that when you provide an ad that's relevant, it's assistive, it shows that you know who this consumer is, they pay more attention to it, 3x more attention to it. Right? So, and we see this in all of our engagement rates, right? We see this on drop-off, we see skipped ads versus non-skipped ads, and when you're serving an ad to someone that says, you know, Seth, I know you like to swim, here's a new swim workout for you, here's a new set of goggles for you, I'm going to be more interested in that ad. And I think that that's the case across most of us today. So, when we advise marketers and when we advise advertisers to think through how to communicate with a consumer on YouTube, we kind of provide a framework called Bite Snack Meal. And Bite Snack Meal is really a way to take a consumer through a journey of seeing your ad and your brand message. So it's pretty simple. A bite is a 6-second ad, right? We're starting to really see 6-second ads take tremendous traction on the platform. We're actually seeing a lot of TV networks are following suit. You'll see Fox actually just rolled 6-second ads out. And you may think it's hard to get your brand message across in 6 seconds. We're seeing a lot of brands be able to do it really well. The snack is give the consumer a little more. Right? Now that you've exposed them to your brand and your message, give them a little more. So give them your TV spot or give them a longer 30-second version of your creative. And then where YouTube can really help is in providing this meal-type content, right? This 30-plus seconds, we're seeing brands create 1, 2, 7, 8-minute long-form content, whether it's in the form of an advertisement or whether it's in the form of just a story they want to tell, and allowing the user to either go through that journey with them or skip, right? We're always going to give the user the chance to skip. If they don't want to see your message, that's fine. They don't, as a marketer, you don't pay for that. So the good thing about it is the brands that can do this and take the user through this whole journey are really succeeding. I just have one example here. Here's just a quick 6-second ad that Southwest did. So the message is there, right? Like, here's the offers. No, here's where you can go. low transparency. Then they came through this whole journey of longer form content throughout the platform, and really took the user through a journey, which is what they were trying to achieve. It turns out these ads really work, though. These 6-second ads. What we're starting to see is that ad recall goes up, right? So whether you have a longer form message that's coming throughout the platform and then you're reinforcing it with a 6-second message, average lift is up. And what we also see is that they drive significant lift in brand awareness, right? And they also do it in a cost-efficient way, which is today what a lot of brands are looking for on the platform. So you're seeing throughout the cultural trends, right? Like, how am I going to communicate with someone who's so immersed in a certain trend that's happening on the platform? This is a way that we're starting to see brands be able to do that. Before I open it up to questions, I just thought I'd leave you with 3 things that I would think about if I were you, if I was marketing to today's consumer, both either in digital or wherever. I think you have to adapt to cultural trends. I think that if you can't do that and you're not nimble, you're going to have a hard time finding tomorrow's teen, because the teen is forever distracted, and they will always be distracted. I'm afraid to see what my 7-year-old daughter is going to be doing when she's 15 from a media consumption standpoint. Secondly, I would be thinking about digital content very differently than you're thinking about your traditional media, right? I would be creating digital content for the platform that you're marketing on. I think that your messaging needs to look very different on Facebook than it should on YouTube, than it should on Twitter, than it should on Instagram, than it should on Snapchat. I think that every platform is inherently different today, and the user expects something different when they see an advertisement on those platforms, right? It's not like NBC, CBS, and ABC. Same message works on all 3 of those. The new NBC, ABC, CBS are YouTube, Facebook, Twitter. So think about how to message on those differently. Last thing I'll say is to be nimble. Rob from Morningstar mentioned this a little bit, and I agree. I think that there's a certain form of fail fast that is okay in digital media. Adapting and being okay with a piece of creative that doesn't work because you maybe tapped into the wrong cultural trend, right? Or you had a long form message that should have been a shorter form message. Being nimble and being able to move your marketing dollars around fast is going to help you succeed as well as marketers. So with that, I'm happy to take any questions that you have.
So do you recommend that brands try and create their own YouTube channel that speaks to teens and tweens, or do you recommend that they partner up with a creator that already exists and try and do like a challenge or something like that?
Yeah, it's a great question. I mean, it depends on budget, right? So creators are great because they have an inherently built-in audience, right? That you as a brand can identify, and you can say, that creator is going to be right for my brand. I think I should invest with that creator. What you'll find is that creators want a certain amount of creative control. They don't want to distract too far from what's gotten them to the level that they're at as creators. So you really have to have a good partnership with a creator if you go that route. I also creating your own channel should be table stakes. Like, I think every brand should have their own YouTube channel. You should invest in that channel. It's an owned and operated asset that you control, right? So the difference is that you have more control over that content, but it's a place to house all of your content. And it's a way to actually look at, okay, I've got 1 million subscribers that come to my channel every 30 days. Let's create a marketing campaign for just those 1 million subscribers, right? Because those are my most loyal YouTube viewers. And that allows you as a brand a little more, I think, creative control. And it allows you to personalize your messaging because those are ultimately your, like I said, your 1 million best consumers, right?
Oh, thanks. We've seen celebrity endorsements blow up in advertisers' faces on traditional platforms. Are there any comparative numbers as far as celebrity or creator endorsements that sometimes backfire? And I feel like the impact isn't as damaging as it would be on traditional, or it has been on traditional media.
I'm sure there are many failed collaborations between creators and brands that are on the platform. But I don't have any kind of specific examples. I think that they would probably blow up just as fast as they would on TV, because if you think about it, right, YouTube is an inherently social platform, so you're going to have the amount of sharing that could go viral in a negative way just as prominent as you would through kind of a traditional celebrity endorsement that goes awry. I think that the brands that, going back to being nimble, the brands that can adapt super quickly to it and have a reputation management layer in place to say, this is what went wrong, this is how we're fixing it, this is the creative messaging that's going to layer up to the kind of disaster that we experienced, will be the ones that can kind of weather the storm better than the other brands that don't have kind of a PR kind of arm in place.
Bouncing back might be a little bit easier.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Yeah.
And we'll have time for one more question.
Yep.
I actually have two.
Well, we have time for one. Pick your favorite.
In terms of measurement, in terms of platforms that are doing the best and evolving as it relates to measurement, as it relates to video, can you just give us a little bit on that and who are the partners you should be seeking out, who's really kind of doing things that no one else is doing?
Yeah.
Informing, and if you could relate that to e-commerce as well, that'd be great.
Yeah, so I can. I think a lot of what we're building on YouTube is the ability to help you measure more granularly than you can through traditional media, right? So we look at everything from awareness to impact, right? So we have tools in place like Brand Lift that measure things like ad awareness, ad recall, and search lift on the backside, right? So if you're investing on YouTube, are you seeing more people search for your brand on Google? And that gets back to your question on e-com, right? Because if you're able to drive that upper funnel awareness on YouTube and track it back to Google, then you've really closed the loop, right, in terms of awareness. So we have all those tools in place through our analytics team. So thank you.
I wish we could take more questions, but we have to stay on time. So thank you so much.
Sure.
Let's give him a big hand. This was amazing.